Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by European champion Chloe Watson. How are you doing today, Chloe?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very, very well. A month today until you're back out in action down at York Hall, London, to defend your European title against Jasmina Zapotoczna. I know you shared a lot of rounds with Jasmina over the years, but a really exciting challenge for yourself and keep pushing on towards those world glories.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Defending my title in your call, where, the journey started. I had my debut in your call, so it'd be great to go back there.
And Jasmina, as I say, someone you know very well, having shared all those sparring rounds over the years with her. We know it was originally intended to be Maisie Rose Courtney in the opposite corner. Was there any surprise that it was Jasmina that came through that fight?
A little bit, but I knew it was going to be a hard fight for Maisie. Like you say, I've shared some rounds with Jasmine, so a bit. Obviously, the build up towards the fight with Maisie was going quite nicely. People were excited to see it.
Chloe, we're just talking about your upcoming fight at York Hall on the 27th. We're expecting it to be Maisie Rose Courtney before she was defeated by Jasmina, I believe, in Birmingham a couple of months ago now. Was there any sort of surprise that Jasmina came through that fight rather than Maisie?
Yes, what I was saying, I wasn't too surprised because I knew that, and I obviously know of Jasmina. I've done many rounds with her. And I knew she was going to ask questions of Maisie, and I wasn't sure whether Maisie was going to be able to answer them in the ring, which, she wasn't. I think she was just struggling to close the distance, really, and get her shots off. So, yeah, unfortunately, obviously, Maisie didn't win that fight, um, which is a bit of a bummer because I feel like the fight was getting built up quite nicely. People were excited to see it. And, I was excited, but at the same time, I'm just as excited for this fight because in the process, it's built this fight up as well. So,
Yeah. Talk to me about the sparring with Jasmina. Was there any point sort of during those camps, during those rounds where you thought, yeah, this is somebody who's going to be in the opposite corner one day?
yeah, it was in the back of my mind, obviously, because, we've got similar goals,
Mhm.
we're at the same weight, we were doing many rounds with each other. So, I knew that if she had the opportunity and we both had the opportunity to fight each other, we would. But it's going to be a good fight. I think people are going to be in for a treat.
Give me a little bit of a taste of how those rounds looked. What did you sort of take away from them?
Well, looking at both of us, you can see where my strengths are and her strengths are. I'm the smaller, more compact fighter. Obviously, I feel like I'm a lot stronger. Um, so yeah, you'll have to wait and see on fight night. I won't give too much away, but yeah, I think look, it's going to be a really exciting fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
What do you think the differences are between Jasmina and Maisie Rose in terms of style and the sort of problems they're going to pose in the ring?
For me,
Mm.
um, well, Maisie likes to showboat a little bit, and I think that would have been a great fight stylistically. I think we would have went toe to toe at times in the middle of the ring. Um, Whereas obviously Jasmina will probably look to get on the back foot a little bit, move around the ring. Um, but like I said, we'll have to see on the night. But for me, I think I can fight a couple of different ways. So you know, I've got an answer for everything in the ring. When it comes to fight night, and that's just through preparation and obviously being in the gym and working on our tactics and things like that.
You've been working with Wasserman for quite a while now, a couple of years down the line on that journey. Are you sort of pleased at where you're at in your career, getting that European title and achieving what you have achieved?
Yeah, as a fighter, I can't really ask for much more. 3 years into my professional career, obviously been with Wasserman from the start. Boxed for a European title in December last year, and I'm working my way quite nicely towards fighting for a world title next year, which is obviously the goal of 2025, and I feel like I'm on a good path to doing that. So I definitely can't complain. And then to top it all off, I'm in exciting fights as well on the way to becoming world champion. So yeah, like I said, as a fighter, I can't really ask for much more at this point.
Do you think that's something we see during the prospect stage of fighters' careers? We often don't see those exciting fights when they're on the way up, whereas you're now in a position where you're taking on those challenges. You're having these fights where the opposition are able to really be in the fight, and look, they're far from knockover fights, and we're seeing you in these exciting fights now, and that helps build your profile.
100%. And that's why I want to be in these exciting fights. You know, I want like obviously people to know of me and you know watch me, and for also to like inspire the younger generation before fighting for world titles. And it's a very good position to be in. And like you said about you don't see many other fighters doing it. I think as a female fighter, I think you see it a lot more like as a female. And you know that's because we see the opportunities and we want to take it. You know, we want to keep building on these opportunities that are put in front of us.
How different do you think the journey is for a female fighter starting out and getting to this stage as it is for a male prospect?
Um, I think like a few years ago, it would have been a lot more different than what it is now. Like, so say, obviously, people are like, oh, you're fighting for a European title in your 8th fight. Like, that's like people think that that's quick. Where like 3 years ago, you would have seen people fighting for a world title, and within like 8 fights. That's not to say that that's not taking anything away from the European title. It is still quick, but it's just because you know the level of opponents are there now for me to be in good competitive fights on the way to becoming world champion. Whereas there wasn't that many opportunities to be in good fights before fighting for a world title. So you take that opportunity maybe a lot sooner, but also the level of opposition wouldn't be as high. So I feel like you know it is growing as well in time.
We know you've been in the gym with Ricky Hatton for a while now. He's someone that sort of goes a little bit under the radar as a trainer. We obviously know him as an all-time great fighter here in the UK, but just give us a taste of what he's like in the gym as a trainer, because we don't get to see a huge amount of what Ricky's producing in terms of his coaching style. What's he like?
He's he's great, you know, like, he's been there, he's done it, and he's still got that fighter's mentality where he's able to put himself in your position. You know, what would he do if he was in the ring with someone like this? If he was getting asked these questions, how would he answer it? And then kind of like we'll kind of have that conversation or run through some things where like does this work for you? Like it would work for me, but like does this work for you? And if it doesn't, okay, let's change it a little bit so it's better suited to your style.
Since you've been in the gym with him, is there anything in particular you think you've taken away, whether it's something he's said or something he's taught you that's really clicked, and maybe something that he sort of showcased when he was fighting?
Yeah, his movement.
Mm.
Obviously, he was known for being a great mover. Um, the body shots are coming on quite nicely as well. But you know, I think the movement's the main thing. And obviously, as an amateur, I was always quite in and out with my feet. Where now I'm obviously settling my feet down a little bit and sitting on my shot a bit more. And with that, you know, I'm still having the good movement as well.
Yeah, we know it's a really busy gym, but someone who's not there anymore is Campbell Hatton, who obviously trained with Matty. He's moved down to Ben Davison. Was it sort of sad to see him go? Because I know he's obviously had a good standing there in the Hatton gym.
Well, he trained with Matthew, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I didn't really see much of him, to be honest.
Okay.
When he was coming into the gym for sparring.
Oh, that's fair enough. You didn't get a chance to share any technical rounds or anything with Campbell?
No, no.
Fair enough. Really busy time, not just in boxing, but in women's boxing coming up this September. Obviously, starting with yourself. We've got AJ on the 21st as well, but Taylor-Serrano too is also approaching. How do you sort of weigh up that fight? It's a big moment for both ladies, and it could really define their careers depending which way it goes.
100%. And you know what? Like, no matter which way it goes, I think, you know, the eyes and everything that it's going to be having on it is just massive for women's boxing. Obviously, the first fight was amazing, and we hope the second fight lives up to do the same. But you know, yeah, I just have to wait and see.
How do you see it going? How do you see it playing out? What do you think happens?
Yeah, I think the same will probably be the same, but obviously with the experience that Katie's got from the Chantal Cameron fight and stuff like that, I think she's just so resilient that she's going to come through and through it all, it's going to be a great fight. And like I said, I think there's going to be many eyes on it, and they're showing what women can do in the ring, and I think that's the greatest thing of all from these exciting fights. We're showing that women can fight.
I think there was a lot of questions about Katie Taylor and the word retirement being thrown around after the loss to Chantal Cameron. She's obviously got rid of those now, but did you believe that that's something that's close for Katie Taylor now?
Well, she's been in the sport, hasn't she, for a long time. I think as a fighter, you don't know when. You don't want to say when the end's going to be, but I think she's achieved so much. So it wouldn't be a bad decision for her to obviously have a couple of more big fights and walk away with her head held high, knowing that she's made a massive change in women's boxing. So yeah, but I think that's obviously up to her. She knows her own body, she knows what she's capable of. So that's kind of her call. And when she feels like she's done, she's going to be done. But yeah, I think she's been in the sport so long, she's achieved so much. She can't go on forever.
We've talked a bit about your profile sort of rising with Wasserman. I think something that sort of jumps to mind, the lower weights sometimes struggle for that kind of spotlight, but we're gaining a bit more of that with the likes of Charlie Edwards, who's obviously gone up to Bantam now. He's former flyweight world champion. Sonny Edwards, Galal Yafai is, we're hopefully going to see that later this year. We really need a female fighter to step up and be that flag bearer. Is that something you feel you can do?
100%, yeah. It'll be an honour. And like you say, I've looked at the likes of Katie Taylor and see her doing it, and I thought the same. There's no one really at these lower weights that is doing the same. And I think I've got potential there to move up the weights as well, up to bantamweight. So the end goal would be to become multi-weight world champion. And I'm only young, I'm 24 now, so I feel like I've got loads of time on my side. So
we'll finish with, I talked to Jessa Dickens earlier about sort of the strength of boxing over in Liverpool at the moment. You've obviously still got Callum and Liam, who's fighting Josh Kelly later on in September. Yourself, Jazza's still going strong. Nick Ball defending his world title. These are really, really important times and impressive times for boxing in the city.
Yeah, definitely. Liverpool's a fighting city, and I think it shows that with the fighters that come out of it. So, I'm very happy to be a part of it and to be, obviously, I'm not necessarily from Liverpool, I'm over the water, Birkenhead, but that's close enough for me. And I'm proud to be seeing everyone, doing so well and to be a part of Liverpool, Birkenhead.
Appreciate the time, Chloe. Best of luck when it rolls around on the 27th of September. And yeah, we'll speak again soon.